Whether you're buying or selling your home, get the benefit of expertise.
Hey, well, compliments to the show. You're really hitting on the subjects and you're telling the truth. I appreciate you.
Meet the team at dangemus.com. And now, filling in for Dan Gemus, your host, Joyce Blackmere.
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Joyce Blackmere, Director of Sales and Broker with the Dan Gemus team, filling in for Dan this weekend. With me in studio, I have the lovely Kathy Talbot. Hello, Kathy.
Hello again. You know, we see each other almost every day, and yet we still always have so much more to talk
I know,
about.
we can't stop talking. We're talking right up to the second that I have to be back on air.
Ron, can you wait?
We have Ron Bondy, mortgage agent from the Super Mortgage team at Dominion Lending on the line. Hi, Ron. How are you?
Hi, ladies. How are you guys doing today?
Amazing.
We're good.
We're gabbing like a couple of girls.
You know us by now, Ron. You know us by now.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. I'll just go back in the waiting room and you guys continue.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. You know us so well. No, I'm just kidding. So, Ron, you are going to continue on with our theme of the day. You're going to talk about fraud, particularly fraud for shelter. Tell the listeners what that means, what that's all about, and maybe some ideas on how they can protect themselves.
So there's a few different kinds of frauds when somebody's trying to obtain a house. So fraud for shelter means somebody is misleading either the bank or yourself or, several people just to try to get shelter. So fraud for shelter. So the one big one is income fraud. So a lot of people will pay somebody to manufacture job letters, manufacture pay stubs, manufacture even bank account statements so that, to show the pays going in. So that way they can juice up how much they make and be able to afford a bigger or better house or even to afford a house at all these days. So, that affects everybody because now you have less homes on the market, more buyers that really aren't qualified buyers, and a possibility of default with the banks. And more defaults with the banks means higher interest rates and whatnot to recoup that for everybody else that is doing it legitly.
Hear that, everyone? Smarten up. We want the interest rates to come down.
Yeah. Exactly. There's occupancy fraud. So this one happens quite a bit as well, where the buyer buys the house, says that it's their primary residence, and then as soon as they close on the house, they rent it out. So that is a type of fraud. And appraisal fraud is another big one where somebody will, especially during COVID, it was really big because you could supply pictures of the inside of your house because the appraisers would not actually go into your house. So you could go to a different house that was worth a lot more than yours, take pictures of the inside and send it to the appraiser, and he would value your house higher. But now, people are getting a hold of these appraisals. So let's say they come to me for a mortgage, I get the mortgage, and somehow they get a hold of the appraisal that I ordered. They are taking that appraisal, they are adjusting the numbers, and then going to another mortgage agent and giving them the appraisal. So they're juicing up the value of their house, pulling out more equity out of their house, or getting a bigger loan and then just leaving, taking off. And the bank's sitting there with this house that's overinflated with a mortgage that they'll never be able to pay back.
Wow.
It's just crazy the kinds of frauds that are out there. And
no
the
kidding.
lengths that people go to get this done.
So how does the bank protect themselves, I guess? So it's not, not so much the people, but the banks.
So if you notice, a lot of the banks right now are implementing a barcode on the side of your statements. So when you're applying, let's say you got statements from CIBC and then you're going to apply at, let's just say, WSCU. Well, they can actually scan that barcode and see if that is legit. So that's a step that's just starting to come into play. You see it at a few banks starting it. Not all of them have started it yet, but they are definitely starting it. Another one is they call the employer now. They're implementing mandatory job letters and mandatory calling to verify you work there. Now, the fraudsters are smart, and they know that they're going to call, so there are call centers where that, when they call, when you call for a job, you can only be vague. They can't give you specifics. So the fraudulent people will make a call center. You call the call center. You say, "Hi, I'm calling about John Smith. Does he work at ABC Roofing?" And the guy will say, "Yes." But the way that the lenders record these numbers. So if they get like 3 different applicants with ABC Roofing and RMG Plumbing or whatever, and it has the exact same number, well, then they kind of start to get smart, right? Because not 2 businesses have the same number to call HR, right? So
right.
They kind of keep track of this. And then once somebody's has been fraudulent, unfortunately, the penalty for being fraudulent is hardly anything at all. You can't go back to that lender that you tried to defraud, but you can go back to all the other 60 lenders. So,
right.
It really doesn't make sense why, these people, can get away with it and just keep jumping from lender to lender to keep trying.
Yeah, you would think there'd be a way to flag them in some way.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm sure there's a fraud offenders list or something, but
yeah, there should be a central database or something that says, "Hey, this guy tried to defraud the bank."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then as mortgage agents, we're supposed to catch that. So we're the front line. And sometimes we don't, because some of these fraudsters are very, very good. And we won't catch it because we don't have the tools to scan the bank statements. We're supposed to call the employers and follow up on the employers as well, because ultimately it's our license on the line. So
right.
Even though if we don't know they're being fraudulent and we submit it, we could be kicked out of ever going back to that lender, or possibly even losing our license. So, you're not just you're putting the people that are trying to help you at risk if you're being fraudulent.
Yeah. We often, mumble under our breaths about all the steps we need to take to confirm identity and whatnot. Yes. But when you hear stories like this, you realize how important it is, and why the FinTrack compliance identification process is so strict and so stringent now. And it's gotten to be much bigger than it ever used to be. And as Kath said, when Kath got in the business, even when I got in the business, there was no FinTrack compliance required at that time. So, it's really interesting. It's really eye-opening, as well.
Yeah. And with the prices of houses going up so high, this is happening more and more every day. So we're going to see more and more regulations and processes put in place in order to try to combat this. For sure.
Wow. Well,
very interesting.
Thank you for that, Ron. Ron, if people want to get a hold of you, how can they do that?
They can call me on my cell phone, 519-791-2961, or they can email me at ronbondy@supermortgageteam.ca, or they can get in touch with any of your lovely agents.
Awesome. Well, Ron, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for today. That's Ron Bondy, mortgage agent from Dominion Lending Centers and the Super Mortgage team. Okay, so we're going to kick it old school real fast here. We're going to do a call-in for the gift card for the Richmond Popcorn Company today. So if you would like an opportunity to win $25 gift card for the Richmond Popcorn Company in Amherstburg, you need to be caller number 8. So you're going to call 519-792-2559. That's 519-792-2559 for your chance to win. And we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to go over the most recent market stats update for everybody to know what's happened up to the end of April. Still more to come here on the Dan Gemus Real Estate Show.